What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you all are having a very blessed and wonderful day. So real quick, I want to go ahead and apologize for being on over the past week. I don't want it to seem like it was Suicide Squad related, but no, I've just been busy. Really, I've been busy. I've been working. I've been sleeping. I've been working on a batch of videos for a new game that I'm very excited to get the ball rolling for on this channel, and that's probably gonna start like very soon, like possibly the video right after this one. But for the time being, we're still talking about Suicide Squad, of course, and well. Yeah, Suicide Squad has been not great for the past week and a half. If you've seen my last video, or if you've been paying attention to, you know, the state of the community and the state of the game over the past week and a half, then you would know season 1, episode 1 did not really get off to that great of a start. I even said in my last video that, yeah, episode 1 was a hot 2-pack of ass. And that did not sit well with a lot of people. I had some community members say something to me on the side. I had some content creators who was like, nah, you shouldn't have said that. You wrong. I think you overreacting. And it's like, well, first off, I'm going to be honest. That sounds like a personal problem. Secondly, it's my honest opinion. There are things that are bad. There are things here that you cannot defend. We're gonna get into that. We can get into that later on. But it's literally things here that you just cannot defend. There's a difference between criticizing and then just dunking on a game. And some people have been trying to make it seem like I'm dunking on the game. I wouldn't have 70+ videos about this game on my channel if I was dunking on it. I've been criticized for supporting the game, and now I'm getting criticized for criticizing it. How the fuck does that work? like I can't breathe. But it's a weird world. And you know what else is weird? The fact that my man Trex Ridiculous, another content creator who's covering Suicide Squad, got hit with a DMCA because he was trying to bring attention to the fact that not only is the leaderboard still full of hackers, especially the top half of the leaderboard, but I believe is the #1 player right now, he has Deathstroke in his squad. And no, I'm not showing you a picture. They're gonna have to get on the game and then go look at the leaderboard and then go look at his squad in order to go see that. They did some hoodoo biddy kichu with the magic and somehow got Deathstroke out of the files and onto their team. I don't know how the hell this even happened, but they did it. Meanwhile, Trix caught a DMCA for simply just posting a picture and trying to bring awareness to it. He shouldn't have caught that at all. They should have been paying more attention to the hacker, but it is what it is. Like I said, it's a lot of things you can't defend. It's a lot of issues I have with this game, and hopefully this weekly developer update can help to alleviate some of the stress that I've been having with this. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Developer update, April 5th. Hello, people of Metropolis. Now that we're a week on from the release of season 1, in this update we wanted to cover some of the biggest topics that we've seen among the community and provide some updates on coming changes and fixes. State of the game. We are aware of several issues that players have been experiencing since season 1 launched and have many of these fixes planned for coming updates. Below is a non-exhaustive list of some of the most discussed known issues with fixes coming in our next patch. Raising Hell issues. A number of players have been experiencing an issue that is preventing their Raising Hell playlist from finishing despite having finished all the objectives. Invisible Joker, sometimes that man be going invisible. Black screen, sometimes your screen be turning black, can't see nothing. Steam Deck, it appears that the most recent patch for season 1 has prevented the game from being played on Steam Deck / Linux. While Suicide Squad does not officially support Steam Deck, we have taken steps to resolve this. We are continuing to work on fixes and improvements as well as monitoring community feedback for future patches. Upcoming balance updates. Following player feedback during the first week of season 1, we also have several gameplay and balance changes planned for our next patch. First up, Craze immunity changes. Oh, thank God. Enemies are no longer immune to Venom Frenzy. Craze enemies take 50% less damage, and Craze immunity has been renamed to Craze Tolerance. So here's my thing, right? Because I said this last week as well. This is quite possibly, I think, one of the dumbest decisions I've seen made when it comes to gameplay. Because for those who don't know, in case you're not caught up, there's a new modifier this season, which are enemy lantern shields. Enemies have Green Lantern shields around their body now. Enemies are highly resistant to player damage until that construct shield is broken. There are only 4 counters for it. There's crazing, which is Venom Frenzy, countering, shield harvesting / melee, or poisoning. Now, here's the issue. Crazing is one of the 4 counters needed to break the shield. However, literally like 3 to 4 levels later, that's when Craze immunity gets introduced. So basically, you make an affliction a counter to a modifier that's going to be a constant thing in higher mastery levels, but then you make it so that enemies are now resistant to that counter. So the only thing it's good for is breaking the shield. Any build using Venom Frenzy was pretty much rendered useless. I don't know how that idea got off the ground floor, but that was the problem. Now, as I said here, they're no longer immune. They do take 50% less damage. It's a good, I would personally like 25% or maybe 30, but hey, 50 is here. Got to take what we can get with that one. Either way, it's still inherently better than what we had beforehand, because it pretty much rendered any build using Venom Frenzy inert. Now, pain suppression changes. Damage reduction has been reduced to 50% down from 95%. Now, the way this explanation was in the game, right? Enemies take 95% damage. No, they have 95% damage reduction against all sources except for poison. If they get poisoned, then the damage that they take is up by 100%. This pretty much rendered most, if not all, builds inert, because unless you had poison active in there in some type of way possible, they're 95% resistant to anything that you throw at them. Maybe 93 or 90% if you pull out something like the stack deck weapons or something like that. But either way, being 95% resistant to all sources is a very nutty stat to see. That's been pulled down to 50. So a lot of builds have actually kind of been brought back onto the table. You just got to do a little finagling with it now. Got to maybe throw a little bit of poison in there, but that still is I personally don't care for it, but it is much better than what we had before. Now, burn and poison buff. There's not really much I can say about this other than the fact that, yeah, burn absolutely needed another buff, because here's my whole thing. I agreed with the fact that burn needed a nerf the first time around. Yes, however, what I didn't agree with was burn getting nerfed into the ground. When you think about the fact that Joker also has a specialization with burn, it made no sense to leave it as weak as it was. So that got buffed along with poison. Cool. Battle Pass XP gain increase, double Battle Pass XP for missions, because I have been seeing the community talk about how Battle Pass XP has been very hard to come across. That's been fixed. Increased drop chance of master items at higher mastery levels. I do like that. Damage reduction from Nightmare stacks gained from the tier 3 Scarecrow Infamy set bonus has been increased to 20%, up from 10%. See, this doesn't matter to me because I personally won't be using the tier 3 set, because I'm not making no glass cannon builds. I'm just not. I don't care for it. These changes will keep the fight against Brainiac fun and challenging, and we will also continue to monitor community feedback on desired gameplay improvements. How to unlock the Joker. So I'm not gonna read this. I'm gonna give y'all the Cliff Notes version of how to get this done quick. So if y'all want to unlock the Joker, there's 2 missions y'all can do, which will help y'all get this done in a very fast amount of time. You can either do Killing Time or you can do Laugh Riot, right? Those are 2 incursions, Killing Time or Laugh Riot. You spend like maybe a good, I would say 30 minutes to like an hour and a half, depending on just how much, depending on how far you can get in Killing Time. You can have Joker unlocked within an hour or 2, right? All you got to do is do those missions, get to rank 35. Once you get to rank 35, the Brainiac boss fight for this episode will be unlocked. You go kill Brainiac, then you got Joker, and then you have the mastery levels unlocked. That's how you get that done. Now, what is the difference between episode rank and mastery level? We've seen that some players are a little unsure on the difference between episode rank and mastery level, and we wanted to provide some clarity on the role and intent of each. So, starting with episode rank. Episode ranks and their subsequent rewards give a more predictable way to earn their gear in the episode, so you don't got to grind through the incursion missions hoping to get a specific item. We noticed frustration of Finite Crisis where the RNG guys didn't always favor you, and you ended up having to replay lower tiered incursion missions because you were missing 1 or 2 items. If you look through the episode rank timeline, you can see new gear available, legendary, notorious, and infamy set pieces in each episode. Our intent is to make sure that you have a predictable way to earn it all and never have to worry about RNG. You can gauge the time you need in order to put into the game so you can earn a specific item. There are also cosmetic items in there, crafting recipes, additional battle pass XP, and more, getting you a few extra goodies as you continue to rank up. In addition, Each episode's rank marks your journey and progress through that episode. When you get to episode rank 200, you will have earned all the new pieces of gear that has been added in this episode. You earn ranks by completing missions in Metropolis, and once you have unlocked mastery levels, is collected from the 3 highest completed mastery levels of the 6 available incursion missions. So, Metropolis missions equal 0.5 to 1 full rank depending on difficulty. Strongholds give you 1, incursions give you 1, and mastery level incursion missions give you 1 for each mastery level above the previously completed mastery level for that mission. Episode rank rewards are granted as soon as you rank up. If it's gear, it's found in that bat pod after completing a mission. Everything else, resources, crafting recipes, XP bonuses, cosmetics, etc., are all directly applied to your account when you complete a mission that results in a rank up. Each episode has its own episode rank, which starts at 0 for episode 1, which is fear. The episode rank is called fear rank. You can always go back to a previous episode and increase your episode rank in that specific episode. Episode rank rewards are predetermined up until fear rank 200, and then they are randomized gear and resources. Mastery levels. Mastery levels work the same way they do in Finite Crisis. You unlock them by completing the Mayhem mission, which is defeating Brainiac in the episode. Mastery level is the increasing difficulty challenge level that you can select when taking on an incursion/mayhem mission. Different blocks of mastery levels will drop you different tiers of infamy gear. Tiers 1 through 3 will give you tier 1 infamy sets. 14 through 23 will give you tier 2 infamy sets. 24 and higher will give you tier 3, and then all sets are re-added to the pool at 55 and higher. Mastery levels are used for leaderboard placement, which doesn't matter because there's still cheaters on the leaderboard. Gotta fix that first. Higher mastery level equals higher challenge equals more rewards. So higher the level, higher the rewards. Your 3 highest completed mastery levels from the 6 incursion missions will make up your episode rank after you have unlocked mastery levels. We picked the 3 highest so that you always have a choice of which incursion missions you want to play and won't have to play through all of them, allowing you to either focus on your favorites or decide to mix things up and play different ones. Higher mastery levels are unlocked based on the 3 highest mastery levels completed from the 6 incursion missions, but the available mastery levels are active for all 6 incursion missions. So if you focus on only playing 3 out of the 6, you will still have unlocked those mastery levels for all 6 missions and the Mayhem mission as well. Damage reduction and affliction resistances. We have seen questions about how damage reduction and affliction resistance works in the game, so we wanted to give a more precise explanation for you build crafters. For example, build reduction. If you have 2 items that both give 50% damage reduction, you won't end up with 100% damage reduction. You end up with 75% damage reduction, 50% from the first damage reduction, and then 50% of that remaining 50%. 1,000 damage for 50% damage reduction means you get 500 damage taken. 1,000 damage with an additional 50% damage reduction means that's 250 damage taken. You can never reach 150 damage reduction unless you have an item that makes you temporarily immune to damage, ergo Hugo Strange's specialization or King Shark's power of the ancients. Enemies do more damage in higher difficulties, and our intent is that you can either lean into glass cannon builds and leverage your skill with traversal and situational awareness to avoid damage, or lean into damage reduction to tank your way through it. Some characters are inherently more tanky, so in incursion missions where there's a lot of AoE damage, you might want to consider playing a more tanky character to push up in mastery levels. The reason why I don't like this is because this essentially falls kind of back into that boat of like you having to be forced to play a certain character, or you having to make like a certain build type in order to go higher. Not everybody, like there's a lot of people who might be fine with damage reduction builds, but there's a lot of people who also don't care for glass cannon builds at the same time. So I get that the intent is for us to have to lean into that stuff, but it would be much better if we didn't and we had more free reign. Because like again, this last paragraph right here, be like what? So in incursion missions where there's a lot of AoE damage, you might want to consider. I don't want to have to consider playing a more tanky character. If I'm wrecking shit with Harley, I want to continue wrecking shit with Harley. Unless it's like a requirement, I shouldn't have to switch to King Shark unless I want to. Affliction resistance. Affliction resistance augments reduce the duration of the affliction, i.e. if you have 50% affliction resistance, you are frozen for 50% less time. Affliction resistance augments are not diminishing since they work on a duration basis. If you have 2 augments that both increase affliction resistance by 25%, then the total will be a 50% reduction in duration. Status effects versus afflictions. I think it's, hold on, wait. With the introduction of poison in episode 1, we wanted to share more details on the difference between afflictions and status effects. There are only 4 afflictions: Blaze, Freeze, Live Wire, and Venom Frenzy. I think it's dumb that poison isn't an affliction when it very easily could be, but because, I mean, look, it is what it is. Any effect that references afflictions applies only to these 4. Enemies can only have 1 affliction applied to them at a time, and applying a second affliction will overwrite the first one. These are primarily applied by melee weapons and grenades that have been empowered by Ivy to imply an affliction, but can also be applied by certain legendary, notorious, and infamy weapons. For example, Black Master's Bullet Storm, Sick Burn, the Cooler, etc., etc. Now, there are no current plans to introduce further afflictions to the game, although new ways to interact and synergize with them will come in future episodes. Status effects are debuffs applied to enemies, which can have a range of effects. Several examples include slow-mo, bleed, which I believe there's a bug. I believe bleed got nerfed for boomerang, and then the newly introduced poison. Multiple status effects can be applied at once and they do not overwrite afflictions. So an enemy can be frozen and poisoned simultaneously, and new status effects with different effects will be introduced in future episodes. Strongholds. We've seen some in the community discussing strongholds and what those are, so we wanted to clarify this, and that's because I believe they never really went into depth about what strongholds are, because there are definitely still a lot of people that are confused about this. Every episode, Brainiac renews his endeavor to control Metropolis by phasing in strongholds that the squad will be tasked to take out to push back his larger invasion effort. Strongholds are phased in chunks of an sword that Brainiac is using to further his goal of terraforming the planet. In Finite Crisis, these are the terraformers in the artillery cannon that you encountered in Chapter 7. So, like, for example, the artillery cannon that you had to take out when you had to go save Lex Luthor from the Flash. In Episode 1, Brainiac will be phasing in parts of the Joker's Elseworld and setting up a new set of terraformers in addition to some bug outposts that you can take down for resources, gear, Promethium, and Battle Pass XP. Cheating. We literally talked about this at the start of the video because they've been running rampant. But at first it was like, okay, y'all are cheating to get to the top of the leaderboard. Y'all are cheating, maxing out y'all skill trees. Now y'all just like ripping straight into files and getting unreleased characters. Like it's going way too far now. Over the last few weeks, we have identified a number of accounts that have bypassed our entry cheat systems in order to gain an unfair advantage, most obviously when taking top leaderboard spots. We have now taken action against several offenders who have engaged in practices that violate our terms of service, giving them a temporary ban and resetting their accounts. Any further infraction from these accounts will result in a permanent ban. I say just ban them all, right? We thank you for your patience as we continue to monitor this situation. That's all for this week. Thank you for joining us in Season 1. See you in the Elseworlds, Derek and the Rocksteady team. I will say this. I will give credit where credit is due. There are some changes in here that are decent, like them fixing pain suppression and craze immunity. Well, craze tolerance now. Gotta give credit where credit is due. But overall, these are, like, how can I put it? Right? How can I put it? These are good things. These are good ingredients that's being tossed into a bad pot. It's gonna take more than just these good ingredients to get this pot back to where it's supposed to be, so we don't get fed with the bull, right? If you get what I'm saying. That's essentially how I feel about this whole situation right now. Don't get me wrong, I like the game. I like it a lot. I love it. I want the game to get better, but I also can't sit here and support dumb decisions. I can't sit here and support a game that's actively messing up and ruining the experience for a lot, if not a majority of its player base. Like, there's a difference between criticism and then outright dunking on a game. And one thing that you will never hear me do is completely dunk on a game. Nah, that ain't me. It's already enough negativity in the world. I don't need to add to it. But that's how I pretty much feel about Season 1, Episode 1 as of right now. And with that being said, let's go ahead and that's gonna bring us to the end of the video. Hopefully you all have had a very decent time here. Hopefully y'all liked it. Let me know down in the comments below how y'all feel about the changes that are going to be coming to the game. What changes would you like to see get added in that wasn't in this weekly developer update? And again, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and smack the notifications bell so you won't ever miss out on any of my future Suicide Squad related content. And I will catch y'all in the moonlight. Peace.